Hello, Dr. Garret Castleberry here, Associate Professor and Program Director of Communication, Media, and Ethics at Mid-America Christian University. I'm here to talk to you all about COM 4103, Special Topics in Media Studies. This course, in particular, the online accelerated version of this course, is special for several reasons, but I want to unpack those and then preview how the course continues to evolve, not just organically in its kind of continuance, but as a direct response to student feedback, and that's an encouraging evolution for our curriculum design here at MACU. Well, this class is going to explore aspects of American culture and popular culture. We often use the subtitle Mythic Media of America in this class as a way to guide our conversations and give us a general theme to return to through the different types of texts and readings and conversations that we're having. And one of the uniqueness points of this course is we're not only going to look at some scholarly readings, but we also will look at some graphic literature and use the comics medium as our lens to focus attention. And so each time we offer this course, in recent years, we have started to evolve or build out different variations. And what I mean by that is we've shifted graphic novels every spring for consecutive years. And so we have a third new option to offer, and I'm going to unpack what that means for you, and then preview the text itself, kind of give you a look at it. And so if you preview the course, if you look through the syllabus and the way the design is structured, we have this graphic novel reading, a comic book, a long form story told in through that combination of visual storytelling and then the written word, right? Literary text. And we utilize the example simply because it's popularized right now in recent years. It's an entrance point for many of us in different ways, even generationally, of the superhero comic, right? Or narrative form. And so we're going to look at, on one hand, the history of the comics medium in one of our primary reading texts. On the other hand, we've got a primary reading text that's going to look broader at how mythology forms in American culture, and primarily through popular texts, right? Artifacts, whether it's pulp novels or films or variations of form. And so we're going to be examining those things at a scholarly level. We're also going to have hopefully some fun reading. And in previous iterations of this course, in fact, some of the language and the way it's written into our Desire to Learn modules, it started with Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. And so with that companion reading, we recorded a lecture cast series where we have conversations to dive into the materials and break it down and provide more than just that traditional kind of talk at you lecture style. Instead, we thought it would be a welcoming change to record a kind of dialogue between interested parties. And so you'll have access to those episodes, right, of that lecture cast series that we initially recorded. However, over time, it was always our intent to continue to grow what the course could be. And so last year, we introduced an additional alternative text for students to read, but also listen to lecture episodes of. And so that season of the course, we instituted Kingdom Come, right? A kind of futuristic DC Comics based kind of proto Justice League type story that went beyond if The Dark Knight Returns was a kind of solo story in some ways that focuses on a retired Batman. This was a story that focuses on a wider lens and look at the Justice League with very highly expressionistic, painterly quality artwork, right? So two dramatically different art forms in Dark Knight Returns, and then in Kingdom Come, right? That are additional text that we've implemented into the class. Well, this year we have yet another text that we are going to rotate in. And so let me make a point of clarification, because by this point, perhaps the students' questions are coming to mind. Like, wait a minute, are you telling me, first you tell me I need one book, then you tell me I need two books, then you're telling me I need like three, and so on and so on. And we, while we have the primary readings, the scholarly ones that we do want to, you do need to acquire to read for the course. We're just asking that you pick up one of these graphic novels to read. But what we're increasingly offering is that you are able to choose one. So choose your own path. It becomes a DIY choose your own adventure course over time, and where we're going to, continue to add different options. And so you're going to eventually, you're going to get both. We'll want you to acquire the graphic novel to read as a companion piece, and then, as that primary text, and then we'll provide episodes of the lecture cast to follow up along the same path as your reading order for you to listen to as a companion piece to the graphic novel. I said that in reverse earlier. Well, this year, after demand from students and feedback, we have shifted away from DC Comics to a Marvel selection. And interestingly enough, a more recent comic, in relatively speaking, in comics history. It's the book itself is about 15 years old, but it's going to feel very contemporary. And it's also because we just saw a translation of this book on film as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as recently as, I believe, 2016, if I'm remembering the year correctly. And so the book that we are going to add into the course curriculum this semester is Mark Millar and Steve McMillan's Civil War. All right, and so Civil War was a 7-issue mini-series event that kind of tells a story of a fracture in the superhero community between heroes. And so you're going to see this splintering occur, and we kind of read to understand who is aligning on which side and why. What's their motivation and what kind of outcomes can happen. There are many tie-in stories that go with this. This is how it works with long-form serialized stories in superhero comics, especially that there are many other additional chapters you can buy, but we're just sticking to the main narrative here. So it's kind of lean and mean in a way. It doesn't go off in too many different directions, although there's a lot of characters to juggle. I don't think it's anything anyone can't handle, given that we're in the age of Wikipedia and all this information. We can always do independent research dives onto characters to kind of understand who they are and what they represent independently as we're reading. In fact, that's part of the fun of it. That's part of that fan engagement, as some scholars would say. And so, starting this course, you're going to have the opportunity to also pick up Civil War if you like, or choose that one and get the lecture cast. As I mentioned, it's a 7-issue series. We have a 5-week class, so the reading preference would be 2 issues per week. All right, so 2, 4, 6, and then maybe 7 at the end. And this gets you completed with the book through week 4, so that then you can take that information and apply it to the adaptation analysis that does hold form in week 5. And that adaptation analysis works regardless of which text you choose to pick up. Also, if you want to challenge yourself, right? If you really want to get into this, you've had an itch, or perhaps you love the genre, or perhaps you've wanted to but never had the excuse to read some of these things, pick up more than one book, grab You could grab Civil War, you could grab Kingdom Come, you could grab The Dark Knight Returns, or pick two if you want. There are different strategies of like picking two. That, in fact, that could be an alternative way. You could write the adaptation analysis at the end of the course. You could do a comparison and contrast style of analysis instead, like a Marvel versus DC storytelling types, or that solo Batman versus Justice League leaning book, like way differences between the two, right? Or Avengers versus Justice League. I mean, there's lots of different options, as you can tell. We have a lot to say. We've been busy recording these LectureCast episodes to talk about Civil War, so we're primed to engage in that. If you've got the time, and these are books you can pick up on the cheap, not only from Amazon, but of course our primary distributor. You do Barnes & Noble Books. These are the kinds of books, they're going to be on the shelves right now. If you live in a metro area of any kind, you can rush right out to a Barnes & Noble. They've probably got these. Actually, you probably have all three of these on the shelf. They're best sellers. And so we're excited to figure out why they're best sellers. And why do they resonate? We're going to tackle these questions and more. And we're really encouraging you to go out on a limb if this is not your area of interest. For increasingly, it's not a lot of people's area of interest. That's exactly why it's a special topic. And I promise you, you're going to come away with new knowledge, and you're going to have enhanced understanding and value that's going to kind of be able to manifest in different ways for you, culturally, socially, intellectually. We're very excited. There's a lot to tackle, and I look forward to engaging in this course with you. Our special topics in media studies, 4103.